What's up, guys? B Rob here, and today what I want to do is just have a conversation about you trying to prove yourself versus improving yourself. And I'll be right back. So I had some thoughts, as I'm going through life and talking with different people and just seeing the way people interact with each other and seeing some shortfalls in myself and shortfalls in other people, things like that. I just had some theories, some thoughts that came about, and I want to take some time today just to share those with you. And one of the things that, and I listen to a lot of podcasts and I read a lot of books and I read a lot of articles and things that try to get in a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and that can be dangerous sometimes. But something that has been eating at me is how people, and especially me, I've done this to myself, is how we kind of limit ourselves because of pride and also because of just wearing the mask, which all falls under pride. So what it is what I see and what I've seen in myself throughout a lot of years and through dealing with insecurities is that I've tried to prove myself in times where I should have improved myself. And so what I mean by that, and what I don't want to do in this conversation is what I don't want to do is I don't want to just give you the opinion or the thought or a theory that you don't need both of them, because there is a time where you do have to prove yourself. Like, for instance, when you're in a relationship, whether it's a business relationship or a romantic relationship or friendship, just any kind of relationship, there has to be vulnerability and there has to be trust. And there's some proof that happens there. There's some proving. You got to prove that you're worthy of being trusted, and you have to prove that you have good characteristics worthy of being in the friendship. So that happens, right? But kind of what I'm talking about here is more of like a status, like an image that we try to do. And again, I've been guilty of this, and I have to fight this every day. And so I just wanted to have this conversation, kind of get your wheels turning a little bit, and hopefully this sinks in and you can relate to it. And then as you're walking through life, you can look at this, and when it pops up, you can realize, okay, here's an opportunity where I'm trying to prove myself when I should be looking more at improving myself. So let me unpack this a little bit. So if you've ever been a part of like a sports team or been in the military, of course I was Air Force TAC P, and so it was a special group, and so we kind of had to go through some other training that other Air Force didn't go through, and with that, there had to be some proving, but there had to be some improving. But I'll just dial it back and let's talk about like if you're trying to make a sports team. So I played sports in high school, middle school and high school, and so my number one sport was basketball. So in order for me to make the basketball team, I had to go to tryouts, and the tryouts had to prove that I had to make the basketball team. But before I got to the tryouts, I had to improve, right? Because I had to prove that I was capable of being on the team, right? Being one of the select 10 or 12 or 15, however many members that the team had at the time. So, but you had to do some work before you got to the trial part. Then once you made the team, you proved that you did it, you made the team, you had to still go to practice and you still had to improve, right? You had to improve where you were and kind of improve yourself as a player at whatever position you played or positions that you played. So when you would do that, then you would show up to the game, right? And then you would have to prove that you were better than the other team at the game, right? So, but what I see, what has happened, and honestly, this might rub some people the wrong way, but the hip hop community is the worst at this, in my opinion, right? So what happens is you got a rapper that comes out and they're trying to prove that they're like a gangster or a thug or something like that, right? So what happens is now you're going to get tested, right? Because you're trying to prove that that's what you are, right? But or you got to prove that you got a lot of money, and that's not just in rap music. That's in a lot of things, right? Where people have this image and they want to prove. And I'm not saying that when I coach people and talk and walk through stuff with people, like if you come to me and you say you want to get stronger. So what I do is I want you to to assume that identity, right? But I don't want you just to assume that identity and already just walk around like I'm stronger already when you hadn't put in any work. I want you to assume that identity, but I also want you to improve yourself, right, to get there. And that's my job, is to help you do that. And I'm talking again, if you come to me for training or sports nutrition or something like that, or life coaching or something like that. But what I'm talking about here is people who try to prove themselves, but then they're stuck there, and at the same time they're not improving themselves. Because once they do that, then you got to kind of take the mask off and be vulnerable to say, well, I'm not all this. That's why I have to go back and do this stuff, right? So I have to do that. So you see this a lot in the workforce, where people are afraid when they make a mistake. They can't come out and say, I made a mistake, because they have this mask, and they walk around like they're the best employee ever, and that they don't make mistakes. And so what happens is, now that you have cast that image out there, now you're afraid that if you make a mistake, then it just countered that image that you're putting out there, right? Whereas if you come in there and be coachable, be humble, then what will happen is people will be forgiving. Now you're going to have some people that, no matter what, 1 or 2, 3, 4 people that won't forgive. I mean, they're self-righteous or legalistic, and so they won't forgive you. But the majority of people are humanistic, right? And humanity. They have humanity, so they will forgive you for. And then that's when you build trust, because you have that vulnerability. Say, hey, you know what? I don't have the answer to this. I'll go try to find it, and I'll work hard at finding it, but I don't have the answer, right? Or yeah, I'm a manager, and I don't have the answer, but I have people that I lead that do have it. So I'm going to go ask them, because they actually are the experts. They make me look good, right? So and it's fine. Or you can say, hey, I don't know. Can you tell me? Be coachable. And then you have the answers after that, right? So I just kind of want to get you thinking about it, and to where you're not so far into the the status of having to prove yourself, and you have this mask on, because now I'm out here saying that I'm this, and I'm showing the appearance that I'm that, but I really haven't done anything in the back end to really earn that, and it's not real, right? So it's going to come crashing down. So then you got to keep that up. It's almost like keeping up a lie, right? And again, don't get me wrong. Hopefully I'm not communicating in a way to where I'm sending the wrong message. What I'm trying to say is yes, there are times you have to prove yourself, and you have to prove that you have been coached, and now that's why you take tests, right? So you study, and then you take a test to prove that you know what you study for, but you still have done the study part, and the test will probably show if you did not study, right? And I know there's some anomalies where people are just not test takers. I understand that, but overall, you study, you put the work in, and then when it's time to prove, you fit the test, right? And you pass the test, because it wasn't just an image. So that's what I'm trying to communicate here, is no matter what you do, yeah, it's fine. You hear the phrase, fake it till you make it, and that works sometimes, but don't take that cliche further than, just understand that what that really means is you assume the identity, but you start putting in the measures to improve yourself, your habits, so that you can reach that, right? So yes, you assume the goal. If I want to lift 500 pounds and physically I'm capable, because I'm not, I don't have arthritis or something like that, then now I will assume the identity of being a heavy weightlifter, but now I'm going to go back and train so that and my goal is that 500 pounds by whatever time. So, but I'm not going to walk around and say I'm a 500 pound weightlifter now, when I haven't done the work to get there, and I haven't proved that I've done that. All right. So hopefully this is a good little conversation, a little nugget for you. Just some thoughts that I've had wrestling around, and I feel like again, I want to use this channel to kind of spread some positivity and some ways that we can look within ourselves using me. And again, everything I've talked about, I've done. I mean, and what I mean, I don't mean that as in pat myself on the back. What I mean is the faults, right? So I've had the insecurities and have portrayed an image that
I really couldn't hold up, right? So I've done that, and it's so relieving when you are just yourself, and people will accept you for just being yourself, and they will connect with you because now you're showing the improving part, and the proof of that is actually you're a human that is seeking growth, right? So that's the proof in that. That's what you're proving by showing that you're coachable and that you're seeking to improve. All right, so anyways, I want to leave you with that. This is B-Rob. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and thank you for letting me share my thoughts with you. Talk to you guys later.